Well, this happened a while ago now, close to 8 to 9 months now, I think. But it still hurts when I think about it. She and I didn't date for too long, around 3 to 4 months, but she love bombed the hell out of me for that time. So it really affected me regardless. Love bombing might be a sign of something deeper, guys, and sometimes considered a red flag. I, 24 male, was cheated on by my ex-girlfriend, 22 female, with my at the time roommate. He's also 24, who was a friend of mine for over 10 years. Things were great at first. I did not mind them hanging out with each other because I thought that if I could trust anyone, it should be one of my best friends and my girlfriend. Poor fella, he found out that isn't always the case. My mistake on that one, lol. She would tell me when they were going to hang out, which I appreciated because it made me feel like she cared enough to know what it could look like if she didn't say anything to me when she was going to be alone with him. That eventually stopped and the problems began. We know this is always a recipe for disaster. Your woman hanging around another man for an extended period without you, plus his friend is breaking the bro code. The first time I got extremely angry was when they wanted to go to a small bar one night, but I did not want to because I was tired. I was fine with this initially. The issue arose when I woke up around 2 a.m. to find that they were sitting outside in his truck and talking. Something in my gut told me to just watch them. I saw him put his hand on her knee, which I obviously was not okay with. Even still, I just watched. He then moved his hand up her thigh and began rubbing it. I shot downstairs and barreled out the front door, which caused him to try and remove his hand from her thigh inconspicuously, which he failed at, like the shady little rat he is. I pulled her aside later and let her know I saw what happened and that I am not and never will be okay with anything like that. I didn't raise my voice even though I wanted to. I just tried to be forgiving. For him, however, I told him to stay in his fucking lane because this is not something that a friend would do. The next case I can remember was one weekend when I went back home to visit my grandparents. I visit as often as I can because my grandmother has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia and has had at least 2 mini strokes within the past 2 or so years. I was trying to text her and she was being short with me and eventually completely stopped responding. Yep, red alert. When your communication changes with your woman, sometimes that means the end of the relationship is near. I was extremely worried because she had admitted to me that she attempted to harm herself in the past. I thought the worst might be happening, so I checked her location. I still feel weak for that. I found that she was at the apartment for which the only other person who has a key is my roommate, so she was obviously there with him. The next day, I called my cousin to talk about it because he used to be friends with my roommate as well, and I thought he might be able to give me some insight. He said he didn't trust him at all and that he would go check and see if his truck was at the apartment because he works nearby. I thought my roommate had headed back for his parents over the weekend. Lo and behold, he was there. She got an earful from me and started trying to come up with excuses. I had some choice words from my friend, especially after he pulled the card of "I'm just doing me, bro," when he heard how angry I was. See, this isn't a friend. Just because you have known someone for 10 years doesn't mean they are really your friend, especially if there's a woman in the middle of this mess. That marked the final nail in the coffin in our friendship because keeping a snake like that in my life just seems counterintuitive on every level. Even after that, I still spoke with her. I think I was just feeling hurt and a little insecure because I thought I really loved this girl. She was still love bombing me and talking like we're in a relationship, sexting, flirting, basically all forms of affection that you would expect from a relationship. We had sex one more time and then she dropped me completely. I am going to say he simped on this one. The minute he saw them in the truck and his girlfriend didn't give the other guy pushback for touching her like he did, I would have been gone, no questions asked. I told all of our friends exactly what was going on and that I understood if they still wanted to be friends with them, but that I didn't want to be around them. So please do not include me in things you want to include them in. My roommate was part of my friend group, and I am the one who introduced him into it. And from this situation, I learned that most of my friends never really liked him and only wanted him around because we were kind of a package deal in terms of friendship. The few who did still speak with him eventually dropped him because they got sick of his lack of accountability for his actions. He was the kind of guy that does things like this and then tells people, "Don't I deserve love too? Why am I being punished for being in love?" Well, dumbass, be in love with someone else, not your friend's girl. Some people just don't get it. My ex-girlfriend later reached out to me and told me that I was a narcissist who didn't care about anyone but myself, and that I abused people emotionally to get the reactions that I want out of them, which bothered me for a while, but my friends, who I am extremely grateful for, helped me get over all the things she said to me. She was also adamant that she did not cheat on me, as if I didn't see everything playing out right in front of me. She dropped on me that my roommate had gotten her pregnant and she miscarried, and that I had apparently almost made her harm herself in her postpartum depression, likely because I refused to forgive either of them in this situation, and she isn't very emotionally stable to begin with. I finally learned later, officially, because my ex-girlfriend and roommate lied to my face continuously about everything to try and save their own asses, that my roommate has spoken to a few people about the situation. One in particular he seems to have thought would never reach out to me about the issue, but luckily she is a good person. I learned from her that he admitted that he and my ex had sex one weekend while I was back home visiting my grandparents, and that they were just comforting each other, according to him. This is because he has a child already with another woman, and they had broken up recently, of his volition, not hers. He then told his friend that he thinks I am selfish for not seeing things from his side. What the hell? She did tell him he was a piece of shit for everything, though, which I greatly appreciate from her. All in all, I guess I just wanted to tell my story a little. I'd like to hear some of your opinions on it, and hit me with any questions you have. I'll answer them as best I can. TLDR, was cheated on by my ex-girlfriend with my roommate and friend over 10 years. My friends helped me a ton to get through it, but I guess I just wanted to air it out and get it off my chest. Well, in my opinion, I think he waited a little too long. He should have pulled the trigger first to leave the relationship, but instead allowed himself to be dumped by her. Guys, let me repeat this, especially for you young guys. Don't ever put up with shitty behavior from a woman in a relationship. The minute you do, the respect for you plummets. If your woman is continuing to hang around another man a lot without you, it's not going to end well for you. Remember I said that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Until next time.